Welcome to this explainer. If you're sitting at a help desk right now, grinding through tickets and feeling kinda stuck, well, this is absolutely for you. Today, we're gonna break down the exact data-backed 3-year roadmap to transform your career from a reactive ticket taker to a high-earning senior system builder. We're mapping out exactly what you need to do based entirely on deep industry data and real-world success stories.
So how do we actually do this? Over the next few minutes, we're going to cover the 5 crucial steps of your roadmap. We'll start by unpacking the L2 plateau trap, dig into the exact skills you need, reveal the top 3 high ROI certifications, show you how to build a visible portfolio, and finally, walk through a real-world fast-track scenario from L2 to senior.
All right, first up, we really need to talk about that trap that catches almost everybody, the L2 plateau.
Seriously, why do so many incredibly capable support engineers just get stuck at level 2? Well, simply put, no one actually tells them what it takes to level up. Look, putting in years of support experience is super valuable, but most engineers just keep doing the same thing. Closing tickets, resetting passwords, they kind of just assume a promotion naturally follows tenure. But here's the hard truth. The industry doesn't reward tenure, it rewards leverage. To break out, you have to execute a fundamental mindset shift. You've got to stop being the reactive ticket taker who's completely reliant on manual fixes and become a proactive system builder. Someone who engineers reliability. The modern IT landscape is totally defined by talent velocity. Organizations don't just want someone to run around putting out fires. They want an engineer who designs a system where the fire literally never starts.
Okay, so let's translate that mindset shift into the actual concrete skills you need to level up.
It's really interesting when you look at how the required tool sets evolve. At L1, your focus is mostly incident validation, using basic OS diagnostics and ticketing systems. Bump up to L2, and you're diving into deep investigation, think log analysis, and some basic bash scripting. But look at that senior level. The focus shifts entirely to architectural design. We're talking orchestrating APIs, automating with Python, and managing containers with Kubernetes. At that level, you aren't just using the tools anymore, you're building the infrastructure they run on.
And here is the big so what, the financial payoff for mastering those senior skills. According to the 2026 IT Salary Survey, senior-level IT pros command an average of $110,203 annually. That is the reward for taking on those complex architectural issues.
To put that into perspective, that represents a massive 124% salary jump from typical entry-level pay, which usually sits around $49,000. It's a crystal clear, incredibly strong return on investment. Every single time you move from reactive manual labor to proactive automation, your market value absolutely skyrockets.
Now, to get there faster, you need accelerators. Let's talk about the top 3 high ROI certifications that actually move the needle.
Based on the 2026 data, these are the absolute top 3 tactical certs to focus on. First up, CompTIA Security Plus. It's practically the required baseline for 90% of entry-level security roles and a major gateway to L2. Next, the Cisco CCNA. Look, even in a cloud-heavy world, networking is fundamental. If you don't understand how data moves, you can't troubleshoot at a high level. And finally, the AWS Solutions Architect Associate. This is basically the ultimate cloud credential. It signals to employers that you can design cost-efficient, scalable systems. And the data proves just how valuable that cloud expertise really is. Certified AWS architects earn a staggering $28,000 more on average than their non-certified peers. That's a massive premium for a certification that usually only takes 2 to 3 months of focused prep. Now, I know what you might be thinking. Exams and study materials aren't cheap. But listen to this metric. It is absolutely worth it. A mere 2 to 6 weeks of your resulting salary increase will pay for the certification and the materials entirely. The break-even time is incredibly short. Honestly, it's one of the highest ROI investments you can make in your professional life.
But here's the catch. Certifications aren't quite enough on their own. You have to prove your capabilities by building a visible portfolio.
Paper credentials might get you past the HR filters, but to actually win the promotion, you need a guiding philosophy. Ask yourself this every single day. How can I make my engineering team's life easier? Support and engineering often feel like they're working in 2 totally different realities. Your goal as a rising engineer is to bridge that gap. If your bug reports give developers everything they need to act without asking 5 follow-up questions, you become completely invaluable.
So here is your 3-step portfolio playbook to make that happen. Step 1.
Find a manual, repetitive process that you or your team does every day and automate it with a Python or Bash script. Step 2. When a really complex issue pops up, don't just patch it. Document the root cause thoroughly so it becomes a permanent troubleshooting guide. And step 3, this is crucial, present this automated workflow to your leadership. You have to make your behind-the-scenes work visible.
By doing this, you're visibly proving to everyone that you've made the leap. You're no longer just putting out temporary fires. You're designing permanent, resilient systems. You aren't just shortening the queue for one afternoon. You are actively reducing the total support burden for the entire organization. All right, let's tie the whole shebang together with a real-world, 18-month fast-track sprint.
Imagine mapping your career out in a visual tracking tool, like a Notion template. Here is exactly how an L2 engineer secured a senior promotion in just 18 months. During months 1 through 6, they stopped guessing at errors and fully mastered data flow using SQL. In months 6 through 12, they focused on automation, writing Python scripts, and testing APIs with Postman. And then, in those final 6 months, they pushed into site reliability territory, mastering Kubernetes and setting up these amazing visual monitoring dashboards with Grafana. They built a visible portfolio, and boom, they secured the title.
At the end of the day, staying on that L2 plateau is a choice. You now have the exact skills, the certifications, and the portfolio strategy you need to build your own roadmap. So based on everything we've just covered in this explainer, what specific skill are you tackling in your next 30 days to break out? Are you going to open up Python, start studying for your AWS cert, or finally automate that one really annoying daily task? Choose your target and start building your system today. Thanks so much for joining me, and I'll catch you in the next explainer.